able to do what you just did, because a lot of times when you're doing a lot of speaking and letting people know what you do, it's about being able to put your voice out there. And it's the louder your voice is, the consistency of your voice is going to get your brand attention. So you can't be afraid to talk about your dream. You can't be afraid. Listen, I'll talk about my dream until my dream becomes a vision, and then like boom. So here's what we have to do. You can't be afraid to talk about that. You can't be afraid to talk about, even if it's a concept, because there's somebody in the room that may be a connection for you, and that's all you're looking for, is that connection. My name is Chris Hampton. Today I am being the coach, helping speakers to build their platform and to get their voice out. I started as a leadership coach. I still am a leadership coach, speaking at schools and universities and businesses and corporate tracks on teaching them how to lead on purpose. And what today you're going to learn about is how to do all what I just said to do, is that the speaking niche is a rich niche, right? It's not a get rich niche, quick niche. It's something that you can do when you have a platform and a plan. And we're going to show you that. And one of the things that I want you to know are some of the common misconceptions new speakers have when they come in, all right? So when I was a speaker back in 2016, I was doing 3 jobs. How many jobs? 3 jobs. I was looking around 3 jobs. And in my 3 jobs, I was a security guard during the nighttime, and in the evening, the daytime, I was doing insurance. And then I was a full-time caregiver for my mother until she passed, right? And on that time, I was doing all those things, and I had that moment where I broke up, and I woke up, and I was coming home from my security guard, and my heartbeat was going like this. And I said, that's not normal. So I went to the hospital, and the doctor was like, you had a heart attack. I'm like 30-something years old, and I'm like, heart attack, no! So I was like, what was going on? I said, no. What was I screaming? No, not about the heart attack. No, I didn't fulfill what I was called to do. And I'm in the emergency room having this conversation with my creator, and I'm like, well, what are you called to do, Chris? And I'm like, speak. But he said, speak. And he repeated right back to me what I said to him. And I was like, no. Well, nobody knows my name. Speak. Who's going to hire me? Speak. And what I did is I got up from that emergency, and they found out it was a false alarm, and I joined Toastmasters. Wow. I went where speakers spoke. And then when I went to Toastmasters, I introduced myself and said, my name is Chris Hampton, and I am a motivational speaker. I didn't say, I want to be a motivational speaker. I wish to be a motivational. I said, I am a motivational speaker. And that's where the journey began. And I started becoming an award-winning speaker, won multiple competitions through Toastmasters, multiple independent speaking competitions. And I started to grow the brand and grow the experience, right? It's not a get-rich overnight thing. And that's one of the things that we want to talk about, are some of the mistakes that speakers are thinking. So the first one is, my message is enough. You hear a lot of people saying, you got a message, and your message has power, and your story needs to be told. I'm sure you probably heard it over and over again. You need to have your story told. But your message is not enough, okay? What you need is a platform. What you need is a platform. And what is that platform? The platform is what holds your weight while you're speaking. It's the stuff that you're doing behind the scenes that's growing your platform on a day-to-day basis that they never even see you do, but it's holding you up. You don't want to have just a message, because messages are for seasons. Messages are for people for a specific time and a specific purpose, for a specific reason. And what happens when that season changes? The message changes. So don't be tied to just the message. The message is one of the most important things, but in my study and when I do coaching, the message is one of the, out of 6 steps, it's like the 5th step. But most of us who get into the speaking industry, we start off with, I have a message. But I'm going to show you how to do the reverse of that, because it's more than your message. Your message is not enough to feed you. After you wrote, how many people have wrote a book, and you wrote the book and you sold the first 100 people, and you're like, whoo, sold my friends, my family, and you were like, you sold your book like you were selling Tupperware. And then you're like, after I ran through those people, what happens? The platform is what keeps your book going, so that you can continue to have that book to be an expression of your brand that opens doors to you. You don't make money off of books. The book is supposed to be an entryway into your world that invites them in. I give my books out for free sometimes. I'm like, here's a free book. But what did it do? It positioned my brand to be able to go, and now they're talking to me, and my book was a door opener for a conversation. So you see, again, what am I doing? They don't tell you these things. So after you did 6 different compilations, 6 different anthologies, and I did that. And I was like, why am I doing all these anthologies? And the only person that was really getting the money was the person whose name was at the bottom of the anthology. I don't have a problem with anthologies, but you need to know why you are doing what you are doing, because that's money that you could be putting somewhere else that you're putting in another project, and you don't even have a return of investment of why you're doing that project. And as speakers, we have to understand the message needs to get out, but it's not enough. Is that clear? Message number 2, proximity to great speakers does not make you great. I did book projects. My first one was with a book project. They're both here, this conference. But my first anthology was a book project and had Les Brown on it. And I was like, oh yeah, Les Brown. I've been watching Les Brown since I was a kid. So I was so happy to do that Les Brown thing. And come to find out, as I did the anthology, he wrote the foreword and he did the beginning message, but he didn't know me. And you think just because you have your name next to a great name, that makes you great. It doesn't. And you need to know why you're doing these things. What I was doing, why I was doing was that I found a project that resonated with my purpose, and it resonated with who I am, and it was a great investment for me. But just because I did that, how many people, you see speakers out there, and it's funny because I see these speakers and they pay the big dollars to go speak with, if I name the names, you'll know who they are, but their platform is nothing. I spoke on this platform. I spoke for this person, and they just name dropping. How about they not? It's not about the name drop. They should be dropping your name. They should be dropping your name. But you feel that proximity is exposure, and I pay for 2 things. I quote my friend Shay Brown. He said I pay for 2 things. I pay for information and exposure. So I'm okay with doing that, but you need to know why and what you're getting out of that exposure, right? And you see how your mindset is? We go in here and we just start doing it, and all of a sudden you can find yourself thousands of dollars in debt because you don't have a plan that lines up with your vision. And now you're just spending because I'm just fumbling through this. And I thank God I had great mentors that were able in the industry that were not gatekeepers. So where I'm sharing with you today, most people won't share with you because it's gatekeepers. Because if you really understand what people are doing and you see how much people know, and you find out that there are certain coaches that are not giving you original content, they're just regurgitating what someone else said, and then you spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to hit something that was regurgitated, how do you feel? And what I want to stop, the reason why this message is important is I want you to be able to have your eyes open so that we don't have good talent, good purposeful platforms go because of bad experiences. All right? So again, exposure to greatness without a personal platform is just a photo opportunity. I don't even like taking pictures out. I felt weird taking a picture with Dr. Frazier last night and Dr. Boyce Watkins last night. But it's not a bad thing. But understand why you're doing it. My proximity doesn't make me great. It's the fact that Dr. George Frazier was one of the first speakers that spoke on my virtual platform as a keynote and didn't charge me what he could have charged me to do it. And I was taking that picture to say thank you to a mentor in my head that was able to pour into me when I first started. Now I have going on my 5th and 6th conference this year, and that was because of that. So I said thank you, and I took a picture with them for that. It's who you want to be. It's not I'm great because I'm standing next to him. I was already great when I was standing next to him. Yeah, you're right. Right? So you have to learn that, and you have to see that. Is that helpful? Yeah. These are misconceptions. 3rd misconceptions. I'm going to get rich quick speaking. and that's not true. It's not true. Unless you have unless you are like celebrity and that way is for you, this is hard work. Building your brand is hard work. It's going to take time. And the people that I started with this in 2016, and they thought that this is not their purpose because they're not doing it today. because they thought they were going to get in there and they're going to get rich. Anything that you're doing, when you're doing your business, you're building a business, and most businesses fail within the first 3 years, right? So what's great about this is you can fail over and over and over again and still get back up and make it work. But there's a lot of costly mistakes that happen when you have a get rich mentality, right? So think about that as a misconception. Time plus money equals success, okay? So it's the time that I put in this, the credibility, the relationships that you make along the way. That's what's going to build this platform for you, right? I could easily say jump on anybody's stage. It's not about jumping on anybody's stage. It's about jumping on the right stages with the right people. One of my mentors upstairs is Dr. Sean Ferris, right? Touched my brand, it went through the roof, right? But what I love about Dr. Sean Ferris is that we built a community. And he's not gatekeeping. He tells me all the secrets. And now it's to the point that I'm a team member. He's a part of my community, and now where I had to pay to speak, I don't have to pay to speak anymore because what? I paid for exposure and I paid for information, and a lot of times those are tied together. So now, through relationships, 5 years later, I couldn't afford to speak here. Couldn't afford to make it here. And now I'm looking at myself and I'm speaking to wonderful black folk that are in the ministry, in the business to grow, right? And that's where you can see yourself 3 years from now. And now you're like, whoa, I remember I didn't have $5,000 to do anything. I didn't have $10,000 to do anything. I didn't have $100 to my name to do anything. And I felt bad because when I first came in, I had time and I believed in success, but I had no money. And everybody was telling, everybody's a coach. So everybody was telling me, yeah, I got you, but you need to drop. You need to drop. And I realized that it wasn't for me at that time, but I never put the dream down. I worked at the level that I was at and grew from there. So work from where you're at. Don't get pressured to spend money that you don't have. I've heard horror stories where people went into their 401k for retirement and dropped it and didn't get a return on investment. So I want you to be wise with your money, your resources, wise with your talent and your gift, and you will grow, but it's not an overnight thing. Right? Misconception 4. The higher the coaching fee, the better the coach. Again, you need to understand and be able to put people under the microscope when you are doing that, right? Put people under. Just because you can drop a name or just because that person's high volume, are they speaking at your level? Listen, one of my favorite coaches in my head, I'm going to meet him soon too, is Dr. Myron Golden, right? So I like him, right? I like how he does his platform. I like his faith in the marketplace. I like that. But, you know, when I hear him talking about $50,000 jet trips and things like that, I'm not at that level yet. But when I get there, I'll be able to get there. So I understand I'm not trying to be able to name drop and say I spoke with this man and I had spent time on my jet with this guy, and it makes me look like I'm further along than I really am. You don't want the mirage of a speaker. You want to be a speaker. Yeah. Am I resonating with you? Yeah. You don't want the mirage of what a speaker looks like. You want to speak from a place of genuine authenticity, and where you are is where you are. And it's okay to say you're in the beginning. It's okay to see your brand, because what's blessed my heart now is 5-6 years later, people are like, I remember when you had your first video. You should always do your videos, right? And when you look at your video, you look at your first video that you ever posted on YouTube, and then you look at, ooh, I didn't even know what the camera looked like. What was I thinking when I was in this dark orange room, and it was like, and I was speaking like I was dropping some type of knowledge in there. But then when you look at my YouTube now and you see that crisp clear, people see the journey. And they end up seeing where you are. And they say, I remember when you started. And it blesses my heart. And you realize people are watching your journey and saying nothing. That's true. So you need to speak again. Speak some more. Speak again. And whether they like you or not, know that they are watching. Right. Because your message will get out there. Okay? So again, don't fall for this. Take time to review their coaches. Take time to review the people that are around them. Look at who's around them. what type of energy is around there. I had a coach that was around me, and when I had my mentor, they were like, my mentor now is like Sean, so we were taking pictures together, and I'm like, hey, we take pictures of Sean. Sean takes pictures of everybody. So we out there, and we do that, right? The person who was introduced me to that coach looked at me like I was crazy because I asked Sean for a picture. And what that showed me was a spirit of elitism. She's like, who are you to ask him for a picture? But no, the spirit that's on my coach is like, hey, we're a community. We built this community together. We're good. So it was a great vibe to connect with. And I already knew we had, and we both looked at each other like, and I've been rolling with him ever since. So when you find those people that have that common goal and they have the best interest in your business in mind, those are the ones that want to connect with you, not just for the money. Because you will grow, you will build, you'll be able to charge those prices eventually. But what's most important about a good coach is that you can see the heart of that coach is for me to prosper and build a good business. And that takes you having a conversation with them. Okay? So that's good. Okay? I keep losing my thing here. All right. So let's understand when you're looking for coaching, you need to understand the difference between a teacher, a coach, and a mentor. All right? You can take pictures of this. A teacher, a coach, and a mentor. Teachers are giving you information. They're not necessarily concerned with what you do with the information. So some of y'all are spending $30,000, $50,000 for a teacher, and you can go straight to the internet and get the same thing that they were teaching. I'm not against the teachers. I'm a teacher to some, right? But you need to know what you're dealing with so that you can have a return of investment of what you're getting from that teacher. When you understand that you're in a room with a teacher, then you have an expectation that they're just going to give you the knowledge. Okay? So that's the teacher. A coach is a little bit different. A coach is a little bit more personal. A coach will walk beside you and give you the information, but they'll also walk with you and help you with the practicum of making it work out. Right? That's good too. And coaches are great to be a part of, but you need to understand what the demand that you're demanding on that coach and what the expectation is so that you'll be able to have a good return of investment. Because what's really bad is when you're looking for a teacher to be a coach, and that teacher's not going to be personal with you. A coach is a little bit more. A mentor is who you really want. You want mentors because the mentor has a relationship, right? A mentor does all the above, and you give that mentor permission to speak into your life and to hold you accountable, right? So when I first did my website, I talked to Dr. Sean, and he's like, Chris, that website would look like you did it yourself. It don't look like a $50,000 speaker. But I gave him the permission to speak into my life, right? And what I do, he showed me how to do it, and I got it, and now my website's working. Now I know what those elements look like. You need to give permission to the right person to speak into your life. And that's not, everybody can't be your mentor, right? That's a relationship-driven piece, all right? So this is what you're looking for. Do you need a teacher? I am a teacher. Right now I'm teaching you. I want to be your coach. I definitely want to grow to be your mentor, right? You can be all three, but I'm letting you know the pathway that I would like to see. So let's talk about amplifying your voice, because this is very important now. We're going to talk about what it takes to build a lasting platform. Okay? Wow, we're good. I'm actually speeding. Any questions on the first portion? So let's talk.
So how do you find a mentor? I understand the difference,
Mm-hmm.
and I am someone who spent some money on someone, and I didn't realize until probably a year or so later what I'm really looking for is a mentor.
Okay, so that's a great question.
I don't necessarily have that. So how do you find
A mentor is not someone that you just hire, because I did pay for my mentorship, but at the time the relationship was built and it was growing. You need to know, one, what you need from the mentor. What is it that you need from your mentor? Like when I first came into the industry, this is a women-driven industry. There's a lot of y'all out here speaking. A lot of y'all out here doing conferences. There's no reason why y'all can't get in the conference if you're a woman in here, because y'all have like a conference every other 2 days, right? But when I was doing that and I was looking for a mentor, the lady that I was connected to it, everybody was with her was women, and I was like one or two men, and I was like, God, I need a mentor that's a man that has my heart in doing business and how we do business. And like 2 months after that, I connected with my mentor and was there. One, I needed a male figure that had my heart for business. So you're evaluating these coaches when you're having these conversations, and you have your discernment, and when those bells and those whistles start to go, you're like, boom. But when you find that one that you have synergy with, now you have to make it time. So how did I do that? I said, listen, I found my mentor through serving. So I paid for the coaching class, but I served for the opportunity. I said, I will come and work your sales table. I will come and I will put your stage together for your event. I'll still even pay for the event and be there. Why? I served. And what happened was through that service, now I'm blessed where I don't even wear my photo shoots anymore. Because a perk of serving was I was serving the photography team, and because I had experience with the photography, I was putting the room together and doing it. Now when I go to these things where people are spending thousands of dollars for their photos, I walk in and got favor right from that situation. And because I showed myself faithful to the mentor that I was with, they could trust you with their platform because you showed yourself trustworthy, and they realize that you have skin in the game and that you want to find out that we want you all to succeed. So all those requirements are necessary when you're doing your mentor. But how you get sometimes in there, as I get everywhere from serving. I'm a servant leader. And servant leadership opens doors that can't be opened through your ambition. Because again, it's showing your heart of where you are. Is that good?
Yes, thank you. Good.
Any other questions? No dumb questions. Except the one you walk away with and it's not answered. All right? Anyone? Okay. So let's talk about building your platform. When I talk about platform, again, the business platform is the base that helps the company share its products, services, ideas, and the strategy around it, right? It's what you're standing on. So now we start talking about, before you start buying CRMs, before you start buying your LLC, you need to understand what your platform is. I had an LLC for 3 years and I wasn't making no money, but I was paying that $150 surcharge every year. You know, I was doing that and I ain't getting not one tax right. It was like the last 3 years I started making money. I got started hiring for corporate gigs on the last 3 years, but I had, now I'm in here 9 years. So I had like 5 years of me having an LLC making no money. Did I need to have that LLC? No, because I was still trying to find my way through it. And I paid an unnecessary expense ahead of where I needed to be, right? So you need to have some things in your foundation. So I'm not talking about your CRM. I'm not talking about your branding platform. I'm not talking about your pictures. I'm not talking about your demo reel, because even before you have all that, you need to have these basic principles. You need to have vision, mission, message. You need to have a niche. You need to have branding. You need to have product and presentation. Now, I'm only giving you some of this because we only got 40 minutes to talk about this, right? So I'm only giving you some, but you need to know all this. And where is message at? Really, message in this message is actually number 5. So when I talk about this message, you have to have a vision, you have to have a mission, you have to have a niche, you have to have branding, and then we talk about your message. So you hear people talking about this and say, your message has power. They're actually starting at the end of the thing and never giving you all this thing that you need before you even get to your message. What's even worse is sometimes they tell you that you have a product that you're selling and you're starting at the presentation and the product stage and don't have a message, don't have a brand, don't have nothing on it, and you're trying to do all this out of order, right? So if we're building a house, what's the most important part of the house? So most of these people are building their houses on cracked foundations. You're building your business on cracked foundations, right? So we want to change that, right? We want you to be intentional in building your platform so that when you do this now, every dollar is spent through vision. So let's talk about that. Vision. Dr. Miles Monroe, one of my favorite teachers, said this thing. He said, vision is a clear mental picture of a preferable future. So when it comes to your business, what is that clear mental picture of where you see your business being? If you're doing, and you're saying, I want to be an advocate, and I have an advocacy platform, and I want to help people do this, then you're seeing the end result. And a lot of times the end result is bigger than where you are. I called myself a global teacher. Why? because and I called myself a global teacher when I was in the middle of COVID, when I first started to transition right into this. Because before COVID, I was happy because I was going to be an international speaker. And before COVID hit, I was going to be speaking in the UK, and I was so excited. And it was like I had the ticket, I had the conference title, I had the brand that's telling everybody I'm going to be in the UK. And then COVID hit. Took away my ticket, took away my conference, took away my international dreams. But it repositioned me. It didn't take away. Tragedy does not take your vision away. So what happened was I reset and I started speaking virtually at virtual conferences. Then doors started opening that I started speaking in Indonesia. Started speaking in India. I just went to India last year. Boots on the ground, India, not virtual. My heart is to go to Ghana, Africa, and teach in Africa, right? But I called myself a global teacher. Now, when you have a vision, make sure that you understand that everybody's not going to understand your vision. Because when I was at an event, and I said, "What makes you?" A lady looked at me and said, "What makes you a global teacher?" Well, I'm reaching the world, and I'm speaking to the people around the globe. I'm a global teacher. And then she found out that all of my stuff was through virtual. And do you know she had the nerve to call my brand? She said, "Oh, you're COVID global." I was like, the devil? You're COVID global, right? But then when I spoke on the platform and she saw me speak on the platform, she had the nerve to come back to me and say, "Could you hook me up with some of them global?" And the reason why I looked at that is, again, people don't understand where you are, but my vision speaks of who I am before I get there, right? I was a motivational speaker before I stepped on the stage, right? I walked into that vision. So your vision is always before you. It's never in front of you. That's sight, right? You cannot listen, if I based my vision off of sight, I would not be where I am today because I didn't have no money, sight. I didn't have no funds, no relationships, sight. Those were the things that were in front of me, but vision drives me forward. You need to have a vision. Vision is giving you, it answers, where are we going, right? Nobody starts a journey without a destination in mind. Vision is vital because when you know where you're going, it helps to become your guide. How many of you actually have the vision written down? Right now, we just wondering. If you don't got the vision written down, you wondering. You wishing. Right? And a lot of people are stuck in the wish phase and they don't have the vision for your business, right? Vision is so important because it drives you, it tells you, when I know where I'm supposed to be, I know where I'm not supposed to be. Yeah. Vision is my guide. So vision will guide your relationships. Some of y'all need to be dating via your vision. Because you're now talking about stepping out and being an entrepreneur, and the people like, I need you to have a 9 to 5. Now, all right, you're off the list. You're off the list, right? Because vision tells you who you're supposed to be with. Wow. You had to make an investment to be here today. And to people who don't have vision, they're like, "Why you pay that much to go around here with other black folk?" Right? Yeah. Vision has to be the guide of your relationships. Vision then guides your resources. It shows you where now you're putting your money to. Right? When you say, "I'm going to go on vacation," what do? You put that money away, what? For vacation. Right. So that vision of your vacation tells you where you're putting your money to, and now you're saving. Now I save up for my equipment. I put more money into buying equipment that makes me look good. So my camera that I got there now, I learned to play around it, and I paid $500 for it, but it gives me the quality of a DSL camera, and now I'm looking really good on my stuff now. All right. Good. And I get to write that stuff off at the end of the year. Right? So it tells you how to deal with your resources. And then it also helps you with your decision. Run those things, your projects, to your vision. Does that book project match my vision? If your vision is to bring wealth to people and you're not helping people in transition, then don't do the transitional book. Do the wealth book. Because it's going to open you to that community and that network. Now I'm being led by vision. This is what you need to do, because when we first started, we'd ask you to introduce yourself. You have to be able to answer these questions in 30 seconds. And I want you to practice this for the rest of the weekend. So you learned this. I think I learned it from Dr. Frazier, or he enhanced it. You got to be able to say, when you're in a vision, you need to answer the following. Who are you? I feel like the caterpillar smoking weed on the one Alice in Wonderland. He said, who are you? I don't know what's weed. He was high on something. And Cheshire Cat was on contact smoke. But who are you? Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? Though you may do different things, when you're doing your platform and you're defining your platform, who are you? What do you do? So you're saying, who am I? I do this. My name is Chris Hampton. I am a speaker coach, and I help speakers to discover their voice and their brand. I show them how to build a platform that can hold their weight and therefore be able to have an identity out there that's going to make them money and draw for sales to them. You see what I just did? I said who I am, what I do, how I can help. I did that in less than 30 seconds, right? So now you're like, okay, what more do you do? Now you're like, how can you help me now? But you have to be able to answer it. When they call it the elevator pitch, because the elevator pitch, you only have like 30 seconds to get to the next floor. You got to be able to say all this in 30 seconds. All that in 30 seconds. Because you only got 2 seconds to make a first impression. So if they're listening to you, even after you're done talking, they still listen. Some of y'all are in the room today because I gave you a 30-second speech while we were out there drinking and eating those little finger foods. But I was out there hustling. I was out there, hey, I got to hustle. I need to fill the classroom because they're not telling me where you're at. So I got to find out where you're at. You got to find out where my room is. I'm downstairs, and I said, what time we start? 9:50. You knew what time, right? Because I shared this with you real quick. Yes?
The slide prior, you said vision will guide your relationship, your resources.
And your decisions.
So resources, can you expound on that? I mean, I see that, but
Your-
mentally, how do I process when it says my vision will guide my resources?
Good question. Your job is a resource.
Okay.
So my job, I still work. I'm a dualpreneur. I work and I make good money. Good money, right? I still got my 401k. That's a resource. Who said you have to quit your job? I had people try to tell me to quit my job so I could do this full time. If I would have done that, I'd been broke, probably divorced. My wife would have left me and gone that way. I had security. Who says you can't walk and chew gum at the same time? Not everybody's path is your path. My job is a resource. When I interviewed for that job, I interviewed with Champ I Am at the table. I didn't say, oh, I'm going to share this part of my life and that part. I'm a minister. I shared that part of my life in the interview. Why? So when I tell them I can't work Sundays, they know I can't work Sundays. Why? Because I interviewed with myself. So now they can't say, well, Chris, why are you away? They say, Chris, we like what you do. And whenever you need time off, just put it on your PTO. And I got like 400 some hours of PTO. I work at home. So I work at home. I have a lot of time that I work and sit. If I got to pick up the phone and talk to somebody, I take my PTO off, right? Because if I talk to 5 people, I worked, okay? So I have a lot of PTO that I have, and that job gave me a lot of benefits so that I can still travel the world, do what I have to do, got my bills paid, got my retirement. My goal is that when I leave that job, I'm walking into this. I don't have to start over, but I chose my job as a resource. Money is a resource. Your education is a resource. How you fill your educational loop is a resource, right? Your social currencies, your relationships, your networks, those are resources. When you have vision, and when you have these resources without vision, you abuse it. What's the definition of abuse? Dr. Miles Monroe said this. The definition of abuse is when you don't understand the purpose of a thing, abuse is inevitable. So when you start your business and don't have the purpose in your business, what happens is abuse is inevitable. When you use a hammer as a doorstop, you are abusing the hammer. When you are abusing your platform, you are abusing that resource because you're not using it for the right reason, for the right time, and the right season.
Could you repeat that?
I don't know if I can repeat that. I'm a speaker that speaks from the spirit, but I will put this recording in my app. So you'll have access to the app that I have. I have a community that's a free community that you can do. It's called the Champ I Am. If you look on your Apple or your Android, you put the Champ I Am community in, you'll see the app come up, or Champ I Am community. I'll share that with you in the end.
Thank you.
Alrighty then. Okay. All right, I'm trying. So we said who you are, what you do, how you can help me, what makes you different. You know what's intimidating? I have my mentors upstairs. And I have to differentiate myself from my mentors, right? You need to know what makes you different. I know he's up there talking about branding. I know he's up there talking about exposure. I'm here saying before you talk about branding and exposure, you need to build your platform. That's what makes me different, right? Are we in competition? No. Because before you go there, you need to be here. So that when you go there, that's money well spent. And now you know what to do with it, right? I had relationships and didn't know what to do with it, and I lost that relationship because I was the wrong time, wrong season, wrong information, right? Why should they deal with you, right? What makes you different and why they should deal with you differently? My customer service. I'm a mentor. I'm a coach. You're going to have interaction with me. You're going to be able to talk to me. I'm not one of them coaches that you talk to and you only talk to me during that 45-minute training session. You have access. That makes me different because most people won't talk to you outside of that allotted time. It's about the relationship. That makes me different because I'm a relational coach. I build our relationship and I'm invested in seeing your platform different. So you see what I'm doing? How I'm positioning myself? That's out there. That's what you should be looking for in your coach. Where they can find you. You'd be surprised how many people don't tell you where they are, how they can find you, right? You need to be able to tell who you are and don't go so off and don't go so deep. Keep it simple so that they can remember who you are and what you do and then where they can find you. So I did all that when I was networking with some of y'all upstairs. I said, you can find me downstairs. I know what room was, but I can find me downstairs and you can find me at 9:50. And where was I at 9:45? Sitting outside the door waiting for y'all, right? That's exactly what I did. I did all that right there. You have to do that and Vision will guide you. Do this for the rest of the weekend and I'll assure you that, take a picture of it, do this for the rest of the weekend. I will ensure you that the relationships that you come to will be a lot better than the way you were just doing high. Yes.
Sorry, I have a question. So when you say where can they find you in this 30 seconds, are you being like, you can find me on Facebook?
Facebook, you can say web, make it simple.
What do you
Yeah, make it simple. Here's my card. This is where you can find me on my card, right? We have the digital card, you have the armband cards, you have the hi, hello. You could find them that way, right? Because now they're interested. When they do that and they say, you want my information? Yeah, that gives them permission now to connect with you, right? So that's very important, okay? And as again, they need to know where you find. And if you have one of these businesses that have a long, difficult email, please make them shorter, make them easy, unless your brand is very clear to understand, okay? I say Champ I Am so much that by the time I finish with Champ I Am, they don't look at Champion the same anymore. So they look at Champion and Champ I Am is the same now, and they'll start spelling Champion and Champ I Am. Branding, okay? So I say it over and over again, but I'm training my audience to see my brand. Now when you see me walk in the room, they say, the champ is here. It's funny, I was in a networking event and they were honoring two boxers. And they said, the champ is here. And they said, the champ is here. And they were talking to me. And they were like, well, what do you do? What fight? I don't look like a fighter. They're like, what do you do? I win at life. So I'm standing in like a picture photo with two boxers and I win at life. And they understood my brand and they remembered me. Okay? That's very important. The mission. The mission is all about how you show up. I'm giving you all a lot of information, and this is actually a part of my class that I'm teaching. I have a mastermind that I'm teaching that we go into this and make this personal for you, okay? So right now I'm just giving you an overview, but I have a 6-hour course that we do over the course of 6 days that we actually go into this, and we make it personal for each one of your brands that you can answer these questions a lot better. So I'm giving you a little taste. Is that how you say taste? I'm giving you a little taste. So there's more into this. But again, some of you need to know how you show up. The mission is how you show up. And this is where we start defining your platform. Some of you are motivational speakers. You're motivational people who speak. And that's good. But define that because everything in your language is going to be motivational. Some of you are entrepreneurs who speak. So you're trying to bring awareness to entrepreneurism and to what your business is. The lady with the bread business, that's you have a baking business, and she wants to do that. She is an entrepreneur that's showing people in the baking industry. And all she has to do now is just to learn TikTok or learn Instagram and learn just put the video on your camera and just be able to put it on there, right? And now she's showing them how they bake their cookies. People are making millions of dollars showing how they make their cookies on YouTube, and people are now doing it, and she only have to put her voice on there. She's like, put a little bit of sugar, a little bit of dough, roll, step it out like that, boom, and all of a sudden, she has a following. But she understands that she's an entrepreneur who speaks, an author who speaks. You're bringing awareness to your book. In order to bring awareness to the book, you got to talk. So now you're bringing awareness to your book that brings awareness to your coaching, that brings awareness to what you do. Some of you are advocates who speak. You're speaking for someone else who can't speak for themselves. So you might be having leukemia and you're being a representative because you survived leukemia or cancer, and what you want to do is show healthy living in your advocacy program. This is how you show up. Some of you are artists who speak, where you're singers and rappers and content creators, and you have it. These are all different ways that your mission can show up. Some of you are social media influencers who speak. Again, you're bringing awareness to your platform. Do you see how you can show up in these different ways? And if you don't define this, because each individual platform has its own language. It has its own language. So it's very important. Then you got to know your niche, because one of the biggest mistakes that speakers make is, I want to speak to everybody. You can't speak to everybody. I tried. It don't work. Why? Because every niche has its own language. So if I'm speaking to an educator, I learned if I'm speaking to colleges and schools, right, then I need to find out who that decision maker is. And when you're thinking about speaking at schools, you think that your client is the children or the students. I found out that my client is the advisor. So so when I start the conversation is not how great I am with the kids. What are some of the issues that you feel that you're concerned about? And I'll show you how I got this deal with a college lately. I got this opportunity to speak at a college, and then they heard me speak during Black History Month, and he said he talks about leadership during Black History Month, and the dean was like, that's all he talk about? And no, he said he made that up. He made that up and customized it for that audience, and he only did it within 2 weeks because I had my knowledge base of what leadership was. I put it under Black history for the Black Student Union. They shared it with the whole college. The dean of business was watching and said, we need to get him on there. So when I had my conversation with the dean of business, I was like, what is it that your concern is? She said, I love our school of business, but I really love our school of entrepreneurship. School of business teaches you theory. Entrepreneurship really teaches you how to make it work. And then I found out that there was a problem with the students learning their soft skills. So again, I'm a leader. I took my leadership information and I was able to take what I was able to do and create a niche of saying, all right, we're going to teach a 10-week workshop on leadership soft skills. I took my knowledge base and I repackaged it to the niche that I needed to speak to, because I had to identify what her language was. So I have an acronym. I love acronyms because it keeps me on track. Your niche raises your visibility. You need to make sure that your people are responsive, okay? The audience is willing to purchase your product because you're solving a specific need, okay? They're aware of the problem and you're bringing a solution. What is the solution that you offer, right? Are you accessible? You need to be able to reach your audience. So don't have an audience that you have no access to, right? It needs to be identifiable. Now, we'll go into this deeper when we take the class. If you want to go in and take the next level class, we'll go into this deeper. But identifiable, clearly defined and recognized characteristics such as demographics, age. Which age bracket are you talking about? I resound from my Facebook statistics. It tells me that my group that I'm around to is between 30 to 55. So what happens is I can't go and say, all right, I'm serving 22-year-olds. Why? Because there's a language that the 22-year-olds have. So I seem to be resonating with the people in this age bracket. So my content, when I start thinking about my content, who am I thinking about? The people that I'm trying to reach. Not what I want to say. I'm trying to say what they need, what they're telling their needs are, right? Sustainable. Is your niche sustainable? Don't say I'm going to talk to this and your niche is so small that you're not going to make no money, right? Think about that. Is it sustainable for the long term? Effective. Are you effective at being able to share that message? And then again, specific. Your niche has to be specific. So again, you are raising your area. All right. I'm trying not to rush through here. How you show up, you need to be able to understand what your niche is. You define your unique position and your unique authority. And you can take a picture of this too. All right, you're defining What makes you different? What makes you a specialist in where you are? The practice. Your brand must be built on authenticity. Stop trying to be like everybody else. Stop trying to be like everybody else and be authentic to who you are. You need to build a media kit. Build an exceptional foundation that's built on your website. What is your image? Make sure that your imagery is consistent. I try to be Champ I Am on all platforms, right? Why? Because they need to be able to find you, right? And then here, network. You got to practice strategic visibility. You're at this event today. Why? For strategic visibility, right? I'm here. We've invested to be in front of the right people at the right time, okay? And then the last thing is your brand will never be seen if you never show up. So network, network, network. Put the net out, make the net work, okay? The last piece of this that we're talking about is the message. Remember I said the thing that was the, do you understand what I'm saying now? Like everybody was telling you your message has power. Do you see how the message fits into this now? Do you see your whole platform differently? Your message has power only when it's connected to that platform, okay? So your message is now the vessel you use to communicate your vision and your mission to your niche. And if you're unaware of this, all you're out there doing is just speaking. I need you to be speaking and effective. Do not get lost telling your story. A lot of people are going on these branding platforms and they're talking about, oh, I'm a survivor of domestic abuse. And they spend 10 minutes of their 12 minutes talking about abuse, and they never show how they came out of it. They never show what their responsibility in it was, how they navigated that, and how they're going to help the client. Because the purpose of you being on stage is to bring awareness to the brand, not awareness to the trauma. Is that right? And I see it happen over and over and over again. And I'm like, what we end up doing is traumatizing the audience. I was like, you just traumatized me. I was feeling it. You didn't even tell me how you got out there. And what they end up doing is rushing their who, what, where, why in because they got lost in the story. The whole purpose of you telling your story is so that you can bring attention to the platform. All right?
Yes.
So I'm at the end of I'm going to skip through here. I think I have time. Nope. It's 10:40 exactly, but it says 11:30, so I'm going to act dumb and just say we have to 11:30 to finish this. Just keep talking. Just keep talking. This is helpful for you. Okay. So your signature story should do a couple things, and I'm going to show you how in the class that I talk about, we're going to show you how to sell your story without selling. You're selling, but how to sell your story without sounding like it's a sales pitch. Have you ever went to the thing where from the time you walked in there, you felt like you were being pitched? Yeah. I've been selling from the whole entire time since I started speaking to y'all. From the beginning. I've been selling since I started. But does it feel like a sales presentation? Why? Because I gave the information. It should build reliability and trust, right? It should get your audience to trust who you are, okay? Your core message must be memorable. And I think sometimes we're tied to our trauma that we don't forget that we are there to help, not be tied to our trauma, okay? And it differentiates and defines your brand. Hopefully I differentiated how I coach compared to other speakers that you're gonna see out there. And I demonstrated that through example from the time I got up here to walking towards the end of this, right? Which makes the next transition easier. We want people to buy from us, but we have to do all the above to earn the right to receive that attention, okay? So reliability and trust, a memorable message, and differentiate. Your story should differentiate you and your brand and make you stand out. All right, so now I'm at the point where we're talking about where do we go from now, because this is important, because I hopefully have made you the point to say, hey, there's so much more. And I'm only giving you a taste of this, okay? So here's what my offer is to you, because I'm committed to building your brand, is I have a Champ I Am Speaker Accelerator Masterclass. It's actually a 6-hour class that we do over a course of 6 days. In that group training, we end up helping you to build your platform, get your message, and all those things that we just shared in here before. So you'll be able to have your vision, your message, your branding, your marketing. You'll be able to vocalize your signature speak and your product development. Plus, I'm going to give you a bonus class on how, remember I told you I was broke like the first 4 years of me building my brand? I'm going to show you how to bring money by having a turnkey online summit, okay, at low cost, okay? When I say that turnkey is you can have a virtual conference that's set up that all you have to do is interview the speakers that are going to be on your platform, and you charge them to be part of your platform. And what are you now doing? You're bringing money in. You're getting like-minded people that are in your field. You're networking. You're establishing a credibility by having your platform that's reaching the world, and you never even left your home. And when I say that it's turnkey, even the point where the web page that's hosting the whole entire conference, you don't have to do anything. They have a whole team working behind that, and it doesn't cost a lot for that to happen. And it's bringing you income, right? So in each one of your niches, you don't have to be like anybody else. Your niche is going to draw other people to you. Then you're going to get a free 20-minute speaking spot at my next conference that's in April. So some of you are like, I don't even know if I can speak yet, right? I will help you and coach you get through that. But now you take that speech. I'm going to take that speech. I'm going to put your lower third, your face on there, your brand on there, and your message title on there. And now you'll have content that you can now share. 20 minutes worth of content, when I show you how to do it, can give you 30 days worth of content when you break it up into clips. And I'll show you the different tools that you can do to get your speech out there. It was amazing. I just did something this week and I had like 1,700 likes. And all I did was how to invite Jesus in your life. And I wasn't even going to do that. I just happened to be talking about a spiritual concept. And I said, I can't do this without offering you a call to salvation. And I wasn't going to do that. But that 30-second clip brought me 1,700 people that normally weren't on my platform to my platform. All right? So those things I try to show you how to do that as well. The other thing is I have a free community I want you to join in. I'm going to put this training in here so you can review it again. And I have an app, and I'll show you how to make that app yours when you do the training as well. But you can go to champimcommunity.com through the website, or you can go through the Apple Store, and you can put in Champ I Am Community. You see it? All right, log into that and you'll have access to what I have in that app is I have a main feed for everyone. I have my Champ I Am YouTube page on there. I have also what I call a Faith Alive section where I talk about how to do market ministry and leadership in the marketplace. So it's a full community that's in there as well. If you're interested in taking this and that opportunity, all you have to do is there's an easy way to order this class. I also wanted to make it so that it was affordable because I remember being in most of your position where you're like, he wants $5,000, I don't have that. But I made it so that it's financing available, that you can do it for like $173 a month, that you can make it and be a part of your thing. So making it affordable, you can do it through a firm and spread it out over 15 months and then have it that way as well, because I'm sure you want to buy some other things that other people are selling today as well. So I didn't want to bless your budget just on me. All right? But it's there for you as well. So you can go to the champimacademy.com. The champimacademy.com. And I'm going to pass these out. If you each can take one, you can take that card. If you go and you look at that little scan code on here, you can take these. You could do that as well. And then you can sign up directly from the website and just scroll down to the store at the bottom and select that package. I'm also doing consultations as well. So say that you're still trying to figure out what you want to do and how you want to do it. I will do a 1-hour consultation with you for $99 that's on there, and we can flush out the ideas that are in your head that will make you a little bit more prepared for this as well. Again, this is a great opportunity for you to grow your platform. And if you learned a lot from this platform, just from this session right now, just think how much you're going to learn when we take the 6-day journey on that as well. Any questions? Any thoughts about how you heard? What are some thoughts about how you heard about the class today? Can someone share how you felt? Are y'all going to be quiet and look at me? I didn't tell you about my fear of crickets? Yes.
I just felt like you were a different kind of speaker,
Mhm.
mentor, coach, teacher, kind of got a little bit to peek behind the curtain and say, oh, that's how that works.
Thank
And
you.
that's why this other thing didn't work.
Right.
And that's why this looks this way. I mean, just in this short period of time.
Well, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I'll say that I think I'm already kind of a little bit naturally inclined to think in this way, but just really because I'm a financial planner, is thinking with the end in mind, right? You know, who is my client? Who is my target customer or client? What kind of speaking to their identity, because when they tune into whatever my message is, whatever I'm speaking about, they need to be able to see themselves. So that's one thing.
Awesome. Anyone else? Yes.
My message isn't enough. I mean, so often we think, well, I got this story, but you need a platform
Yes.
for your message.
So I would like to see all of y'all in my class, but that'll be great. Again, if it's a matter of having a conversation with me afterwards, day after, we could talk about making that work for you. The options that I made available are very open, but again, I hope I've got you from getting out of the wish mindset, getting out of the dream, and start to think about your vision. Wish is, I think I can do it. Dream is, I want to do it. Vision is, we make it happen. Okay? So I want to help you make the two happen. Yes?
The last thing I'll mention too is you just being transparent about, hey, I got my corporate job and I'm doing this,
Mhm.
right? So there's no we don't know everybody's situation in here, but you gotta bootstrap it, be hungry, you're gonna be busy, you're gonna be tired, you're gonna be exhausted. But what's the bigger mission? What's my commitment to this vision I'm trying to build out? So thank you for sharing that also.
And the biggest thing about that is don't separate yourself from your job. When I say that, when you show up at your job, you show up with your full vision. When you go interview for jobs and things like that, you don't say, well, I'm going to leave this portion out, because they benefit from my social media awareness. They benefit from my training when I train brokers and do what I do. When I come in there and I'm doing my videos now, they benefit from that. And people are like, wow, how did you get so much exposure amongst the brokers? Because I stopped giving emails and started doing videos, right? So they benefit from me and my experience, and they see it as an investment rather than a contradiction or thing. So show up as the full you, and you'll find out that you're a blessing of the resources, because the whole reason why you have the job is so that you can fund the vision, right? So think about that, and I hope I gave you something to think about. Connect with me. Again, the champimcommunity.com or the ChampIM app is free. If you want to be able to watch this, because I gave you a lot of information, you'll be able to watch the replay once I upload it, and go from there from the community as well. All right, I'm done with my time, and I'm here to talk to you afterwards if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.